we're in the heart of this industry that's so much part of Los Angeles. And it was really kind of interesting, this leap from Boston to LA. The whole main idea here had to do with making a very strong social space, and then one that talks about the nature of that collective community, energetic, avant-garde, filled with kind of energy.
You're essentially creating an urban campus on a pretty small site. I mean, it's less than an acre. And so we really played with the verticality and the density between the different volumes. At the same time, also really presented all the activity of the college to the street and gave it a really exciting front street identity. From the front right away, you see pretty much how the whole building is organized. You see the two slender towers, which is where all the dorms are located. You also get a view deep into the college, seeing some of the outdoor spaces.
Again, the big idea would be they're going to come here, and there's absolutely no question that it's an environment that has to do with the dynamicism, the kind of much more ephemeral kind of lifestyle of Los Angeles, and this could lead to kind of an architecture that represents that.
One thing we tried to do with this entry space is have this feeling of compression. You feel like you're walking under the stair. We lowered the ceiling. We made it a tighter, more intimate lobby. Rather than making the lobby this big, grand, vast space, it's really this preparation space. It's a place for reception, to be received. Circulation-wise, this is the main checkpoint. The idea was that from that desk, everything can be observed and overseen from the main reception desk. So from there's an elevator that brings you up from the street, and then the entry points into the two towers are right off of that entry desk. The central building kind of has this aluminum facade that wraps over it. The facade was built by Zahner, a metal fabricator in Kansas City, and they had this system at the time which was relatively new, to where these panels are built almost like plane wings. Because costs were tight, we worked with a fabricator during design to understand all of their challenges, and we put all of their parameters also into our program. We did hundreds of patterns. What we ended up choosing is one that kind of reflects the relationship between the central building and the two towers.
We went through 3 iterations, but the final one has no waste, because we wanted every piece of material to go on the building, and we were able to deal with it at that level. Yeah. We were now invested in construction.
One of the drivers that came from Emerson is they wanted this building to kind of be a beacon and magnet for that alumni network, so alumni could come back and give lectures and talks to students. So this was a great space for that. It's the main space in the building for larger events. It's the multi-purpose room. There's a few features that we built into it to give it flexibility and adapt to different size of it. The room has a glass wall that completely slides and opens up, so the second floor terrace and the multi-purpose room can kind of become one flowing indoor-outdoor space.
The middle now is where we kind of have a very dynamic place, and we made, in a way, a studio where the academic and the social and the recreational and the living are all put in one singular kind of thing, right? We used the stair as a social space and moving, and it was also, the outside became part of the inside as you move through the building. And in this one, we were able to use it in a somewhat parallel way. But the stair, again, is part of the social space. It's not a stair. Mm-hmm. It's a stair like at the Met or like at the New York Public Library, and it takes you up to the plaza.
Mm-hmm. You can see there's these Varendale steel beams which span across the towers. Those also help to brace the towers in a seismic event because they're so slender. And then below that, we have this kind of catwalk type bridge where we have these maintenance platforms, and we also have the lighting with the barn doors where we can do these really dramatic grazes of lighting across the scrim at night. This is the dorm, one of the dorm corridors, which is an open air balcony. The structural slabs are exposed. The structure for this tower is a post-tension concrete slab. So these slabs can be very thin, only 7 inches. And then there's a concrete column and structural frame that comes down. And so the inside of the dorms can actually be kind of more of an industrial type look. They're very stripped down. We kept a lot of the concrete exposed.
It had to be very kind of taught in economic terms, because today's world, education is interested in putting the capital into education, to faculty, into the operational costs. And they're very conscious of the capital that goes into the building. And so it was from the beginning very kind of a taught building.
We actually went pretty aggressive on a lot of the sustainability stuff for this building. So the renewable energy for this project is solar thermal panels on the roof because we have all these showers. Because of that thermal mass and the shades we have on the outside, we reduced the heat loads quite a bit. And so we could go with a more passive systems. Another interesting thing Emerson brought to the table is they also wanted to see it as kind of a big film set. The material palette went more neutral, and it's more about texture and light and form. And even like pragmatically, we put infrastructure throughout the building so they could film. There's places to plug in for cameras. We actually worked with a theater consultant. There's rigging, there's theatrical lighting. And so this wasn't just a condo building coming to Hollywood, but it was kind of reinvigorating some of that, film production aspect of Hollywood. We wanted to have this, more dramatic landscaping moment on the 5th floor. And so we did this 1-story deep pit, which goes down into the 4th floor and allowed us to crane in these 2 sycamore trees. So that kind of gives a nice shading element to the terrace, as well as kind of just provide this surprising moment when you're looking up from Sunset Boulevard.
The whole notion of kind of invention here allows you to kind of play with things, kind of push things, and put them in places that are unlikely to be normative. Meaning that we were able to really kind of focus in, and through the given budget, et cetera, to develop something quite sophisticated.
A lot of our educational projects, we try to provide these spaces where there's a chance for engagement, informal meeting, having the space and the time to engage with your peers and learn from them.
Buildings have to be educational, or they're making you think differently because they're reshaping kind of how you operate in the world.